Hi guys, today I'm going to be reviewing Transformers Masterpiece Starsaber MP-24. This figure has been really a highly anticipated figure in the Masterpiece line. There are a lot of fans. This was the fans' choice for the Transformers Masterpiece. I wouldn't have chosen this as my choice, but I am glad that they made it. You know, after seeing this figure, getting it in hand, seeing the reviews, this really is an incredible figure. They did an incredible job with the quality and just the number of features, amount of detail. I'm going to go over that. Now, I've never really watched Transformers Victory. I don't know this character. I really don't have a connection to this character. And so it was kind of strange for me to, actually even purchase this. It was the next figure in the line for me, and I kind of wavered back and forth, but once I saw the in-hand pictures of it, I thought, this is a great figure to have. So without further ado, let's take a look at the figure. Let's get into the box here. This box is massive. It's actually, I think, a little bit bigger than the Soundwave and Ultra Magnus box. It's just slightly taller, but it's similar in size and shape. You got the standard Transformers Masterpiece foil writing. You got a picture of the figure and the spaceship or vehicle mode. And here on the back we have the 1,000 of features that this thing comes with. So we'll take a look at that. I mean, it really is. There's so much included with this figure. This review is actually be one of the longest reviews I've done so far, just because in order to cover all these features, I'm going to need much more time than my usual reviews are around 20 minutes. This is probably going to run 30 to 40 minutes, just a forewarning. But as you see on the box, there's a ton of features. You've got the little headmaster that actually fits inside of the cockpit. It actually goes into the chest and basically pushes the head up into Starsaber. You've got he comes with a gun, a blaster. He's got his little piece shield here, which is actually the nose cone. Then down here you kind of see him combining, how he combines. There's the larger sword here. There's a smaller sword that goes with the other Saber figure. There's a shield. The shield turns into a stand. I mean, there's just a ridiculous number of things with this feature. I mean, with this figure to cover. So we're gonna try to get started here. I'm not gonna dwell on the box a little too much. I'll take out the tray here. Now this figure took up, I'd say 95% of the tray was filled with this figure. It's pretty much right here. On the side here, you kind of had the smaller vehicle. I'm forgetting the names here. I think the smaller vehicle and the larger vehicle here. And then up here, some of the weapons and the sword pieces, the chrome sword pieces. I mean, it really was filled to capacity. Yeah, Saber. That's the name of the smaller ship, and then the V-Star was right here. So good use of the packing that really filled every inch of this package. And then we've got the manual here. It's really a very nice animation on the front. This is a departure from the previous animations on some of the manuals. They kind of took a little extra time here to animate this, and it looks great. There is again a comic or a description of the figure. I can't read that. I'm sure it talks about the story of Starsaber. It talks about what you get in here. You've got the V-Star, Starsaber, the shield, the multiple swords, the extension piece so you can hold it. You've got the stand, the display stand. You've got the Saber laser, and you got the brain. I'm sorry, I called this the headmaster. This is the brain of courage, I guess it's called. The instructions are pretty detailed. They've got pretty much everything covered here, and how to do the transformation, how to combine things, how to put together. And then on the back you have not quite a history of Starsaber. I don't think there were a lot of Starsaber figures. I mean, they are showing the original G1 Starsaber figure here, and then you've got another, little variant here, and I don't even know what this is because I'm not familiar with Victory. But there are some variations here. This is probably what they modeled this figure after. It's sort of modeled after that. But I think that, this is still a very nice manual. The fact that it says Masterpiece Fan's Choice, and probably talks about some of the history behind getting this figure together. It's nice. I do like the history of that they've been doing, but perhaps this figure doesn't have history of. So that's about it for the manual. We're going to now get into the figure. And let's see if this even fits in our review area here. This thing is massive. Do a little adjustment here. Now, this is really the biggest figure, the biggest Masterpiece figure that's come out to date. For a size comparison, let's take a look at Ultra Magnus here. Try to get them side by side. Now you can see he's actually just a bit taller than Ultra Magnus. Their shoulders come about to the same height, but then with these guns and the helmet and his antenna, he just towers over. I mean, he really is a massive figure. So that's one of the advantages of this, is because he's so big, he is a little easier to, I guess, put together. I feel like if this was smaller, it'd be a lot harder to do the combined mode. But it really is impressive. The colors and the chrome, the gold chrome here. This actually reminds me of Gundam. The RX-78 figure, this really reminds me of that RX-78 figure from Gundam, especially with the yellow and the red and the blue and the white. That was pretty much the colors of RX-78. I don't know if this is a crossover or a function or result of Gundam being in existence, but I love this. I like the fact that it looks like a Gundam figure, but it's a transformer, and it has so many modes to it that it's very it's got a lot of options. So we'll just do a little 360 here. Right away, one of the things you see is this sword only fits this way. If you try to turn it the other way, it doesn't quite fit in the hand. But still pretty amazing. He's got a backpack here. It's actually a jetpack, because you can see he's got the little boosters here. These are die cast, by the way. And you can, this cannon, or what do they call it here, the saber laser, it actually attaches to his back. This does not go here, but I found that it fits there as a storage point, and it looks kind of cool, so I left it there. But this piece is actually the sword for Saber. I just happen to put it here, and I think it looks fine. But yeah, I mean, this backpack is really, really pretty incredible. The detail all the way around the figure. They didn't. A lot of figures, the back looks kind of ugly. I think actually Masterpiece Ultra Magnus suffers from that. He's got a pretty ugly back. But this guy, all around, every angle, every shot, it's incredibly well done. He does have his shield here, so we'll go into the weapons. But he does have basically 4 different weapons and accessories. He's got a shield, he's got the large sword, he's got the smaller sword, the saber blades. He's got the small blade and the big blade, and then he's got his saber laser. So that's a lot of stuff. So let's go over that and kind of review each of them individually. So the first weapon we're going to look at here is shield. Now this is actually a transforming shield. We'll look at that a little bit later. It does become a stand for the Starsaber, the ship. But for now, it does have a little tab that fits into the hand. It's actually the outside part of the hand that has the notch for the shield. But it does squeeze in there nicely. Let's see. There we go. And you get pretty good grip there. This is actually one of the problems with the figure. The handle is very thin, and also if you're trying to put it into his hand like this, you really can't get a good position, so you kind of have to put it with the flat part forward, and it looks a little odd, but it's okay. The chrome on this is really great. It's really incredible. They did a good job on this. I mean, the sword itself, the hilt is well done, but then the chrome is just, it's outstanding. There's no mistakes on it. All right, now we'll go to the back here. We do have this. I'll take this off too. By the way, in robot mode, you can store his weapons up here. His backpack. Pull them out. So the saber laser actually has a little bit of transformation. The handle flips out, and then you can fit that into his hand here. It should. Yes, there you go. Now you've got him with his saber laser. It's a little small, but still, it looks pretty good. I actually almost prefer that over the large saber blade. And finally, you've got the little saber blade. It actually does assemble. I may as well show that. It literally just inserts in here. That's it. It's a friction fit. This actually will fit in his hand, but it's obviously going to look a little weird because it's pretty small. Let's take a look at that. And I do like the fact that everything is interchangeable. Every weapon, the shield, everything works in both modes and can be used in both modes. There you go. It's got a little mini sword there. But, I mean, it's obviously a little too small for this guy, but it does look good. So let's get rid of that. We'll get rid of his shield here, and we'll go over some of the features of the figure itself and the articulation. Let's go a little bit higher here. Okay, so starting with the head, it is on a rotation, and it's not on a ball joint, but it does look up and down just by virtue of the way this is fit together. The antennae are articulated. They go out pretty far. I mean, they go all the way like that. I like to have them pretty much straight up. The shoulders do come out pretty far. If you want them even further, you kind of have this hinge, just like the Masterpiece Ultra Magnus, where they swing out. And now you've got, you can get them all the way up like that. So they thought about that a little bit, and it does kind of snap back in, so that's good. The elbows is as a swivel here. It's actually a ratcheted swivel. It does have a double jointed elbow. They're not that tight actually, but good enough for the figure. I had to actually tighten this one. It was a little loose. But they're good joints. They're tight enough. The hand is on it can angle in and out, and it can swivel. And you've got the fingers. These are the standard Masterpiece figures, hands, 3 fingers together, and then the 1 pointer finger separate. The second joint on the pointer finger is not articulated like this usual. It's all one. Probably because it's so big. I mean, you really don't need that. And the inside of the hand actually is what has the spot for the tab on the weapons. The waist has a swivel and also a rocker. I'm not sure why the rocker, maybe just part of the transformation. These skirts do flip up. This is literally exactly what Gundam does. They have these little skirts. They look just like this, so this reminds me exactly of Gundam. But if we flip those up, you do have a heavy ratchet in the hip, heavy ratchet in the knee. You've got a swivel at the knee. You've got somewhat of a swivel at the hip. You do have articulated feet. They do swing from side to side. They also go like this. Now his feet have a nice metal heel, which is actually his boosters in vehicle mode. So it's a really nice way to use that up. This has been what this has been speculated about quite a bit. People are saying this is actually a attachment point for Leo, Victory Leo. If they ever do another figure for the Victory line for Masterpiece, it would obviously be able to attach here. By the way, this is all metal. This is metal. This is metal. This is metal, and it's really high quality. It's sturdy, but the whole thing, whole thing kind of pivots and tilts, and you can really get the feet into a good position because of that. That's about it for articulation, and that's pretty much it for the features in robot mode. Almost everything can be stored in the robot in robot mode. Either in his hand, or on his back, or in the backpack. That's a really nice touch. I like how they thought ahead about, where's everything going to go. It's well done. I think that's about it. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anything here. Yeah. It's an amazing robot mode. I think they did a great job. I'll get this taken apart, and then we'll take a look at Saber, the smaller robot, in his robot mode, and then we'll get the V-Star converted into vehicle mode and take a look at that. So we'll be right back after conversion here. Okay guys, we've removed Saber from the chest. This is what it looks like in his ready to combine mode. He does have a small slot here. That's where the tab on the V-Star or Starsaber, this little tab, there's a button on the back to kind of move it, and you can see it moving there. And basically that plugs in down here. So you kind of have to, you sort of have to force this in. It doesn't have a very good fit. I mean, it's pretty tight. So I was a little worried about pushing this in here the first time. It does go in. You just have to kind of give it a little force. I was also worried about some of the paint scratching on the back. It didn't scratch. I mean, it looks okay even after combining it, so I think it's okay. I don't think it has an issue, but I'm a little worried about that. Another thing, I forgot to mention this, and I kind of discovered this as I was taking this apart. This sword actually, you kind of have two modes for this sword. And I personally, I just talked about I don't like this hilt because it's just too long and skinny. But you don't have to use this hilt. Apparently there's another one inside of it. So if you detach this hilt, put that aside, this actually transforms, which is unbelievable. So you open this up here, and you fold this hidden hilt inside out, close it up, close up the back end, and now you've got this little guy, little hilt. And this is perfect because it fits right in the little groove in his arm, within his hand. I'm sorry, which is nice because it looks a little better, and it's secure. It's much more secure than the large hilt. So I kind of like that. I like the fact that you have this option to not have this huge, extra long. I think the reason they included this was somebody who wanted a two-handed, sword hold. You need a long handle. But I now that I have this, I probably would display it this way. Anyway, it seems like everything is a transformer here. Even the head, and the head actually, you've got this motion here, and we'll see that in vehicle mode. But this thing transforms into a little gun. This shield, this shield transforms into a base for the Starsaber ship to kind of be displayed on. So everything kind of has a purpose and a transformation. Here you go. There's a transformation. The shield becomes a little base. We'll use this in vehicle mode. I'll show you how this works. But I love that. I love the fact that everything, even this little hilt and sword, they have a little conversion on them. Even this gun has this little flipping. It's not much of a transformation, but still, the fact that everything in this, every single accessory that comes with Starsaber transforms in one way, shape, or form, and that's impressive that they took that. Now, a lot of people are probably going to complain, yeah, this is a lot of parts forming. I mean, you can see how many different pieces and parts I have here. And these are mostly all weapons, but I don't care that it's parts forming. I mean, this is by nature of what it is, a parts former. This is a part. It's going to this part. It's going to make a bigger robot. That's the way this figure is. That's the way the cartoon was. I don't even watch, I've never watched Victory. I saw clips of it on YouTube. So just to get an idea what this guy was and what his transformation was on the cartoon, he was a parts former. He came together. So I think they did justice to the toy and the show, and even though it's a parts former, I mean, it's in some cases an extreme parts former, this thing, but they made good use of it, and that's why I think this is really one of the best masterpiece figures that have come out so far to date. They really made really good use of all of the pieces and parts, and they're able to take advantage of everything that comes with this. Anyways, so here we've got the Saber figure. It's a pretty simple transformation, so I am going to do it on camera here. Basically, his legs fold down like that, and now they pull out. And you'll see the little yellow parts kind of get a little bit longer. Or maybe not. There you go. So now you got these a little bit longer. These actually I did flip over in robot mode. You want them like that when he's going to combine with into Starsaber to kind of show the vents, but when he's in Saber mode you can keep them red like that. Anyway, split the legs. You kind of fold down his feet here, the front of his feet. The wheels are also in there. I mean, you're not going to use them right now. And then his heel is this, I think it's die cast. No, it's not die cast. Okay, but anyway, his heels are formed by the boosters. Then you're going to want to take the arms and fold them up, and then they sort of accordion down here. And the hands fold out. Same thing on this side. Mine does have a little weird thing where it wants to pop out, but it works well. And then you fold these back, and here you have Saber. I think it looks really good. I think it's a very, even though it's, you know, kind of a minifigure or a sub figure, I don't know what you want to call it. This is very detailed. I mean, he's got good paint all the way around every part. I mean, it's very well detailed for what's not even the main, you know, figure. But this is really the coup de grace here. The reason why this thing is just so amazing is he's got the brain master or brain of courage, whatever you want to call it, that fits inside his chest. We'll take him out here for a second. Kind of take a look at him if I can get him out. Huh. It's pretty tight. There we go. Okay. It's pretty tight in there. I mean, he does, the way this fits together, he's got a little peg on the back here. And if you look at Starsaber, obviously there's peg. I'm sorry, this is a peg hole. And there's a peg inside. So when you stand him up in here, he fits perfectly onto that peg. This little guy, you know, he's pretty detailed. I mean, the colors are very obviously a direct copy of the Starsaber. You know, he's got the white legs and the red feet and the blue head. I mean, it's just pretty much very nicely painted little figure. I mean, the arms do move. They spin around all the way. The legs kind of fold up. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice little minifigure. Anyway, you want to stand him up straight like that. And then you're going to put him inside the chest here and kind of make sure he's attached to that little peg in the back. And once you got it in that peg, you close the chest and it forms the head. And I think that's a great gimmick. I haven't seen this on any other figures, any other Transformers I've owned or I've seen. I mean, I think the original did something like that. But the head that gets formed is incredible. I mean, the detail, the visor, the color, it's just a really good figure. I wasn't expecting this nice of a figure for the minifigure, as far as the paint apps are concerned, but it really is a good figure. He does have a lot of articulation. His hands even open up here, and his arm is on a ratchet swinging joint. There are some things in the way that prevent him going all the way around. He has an elbow joint here. The head does turn. It does not angle upwards. That's probably due to the Brain Master transformation piece. He does have a joint at the hip, but he's limited on as to how far back he can go due to what's behind here. It does go, and they're very tight ratchet joints. Well, it's kind of strange. They're tight and ratchety going forward, but then they're loose and weird and going backwards. So that's fine. They're still very tight, and you know the figure holds together well. He does have kind of a lean. He likes to lean back a little bit, but you can kind of adjust it and get it the way you want. Now he's leaning forward, so you can kind of get it whatever pose you want. But really awesome figure. Even though he's not the main attraction, I think they spent a good amount of detail on this guy. This really reminds me of Gundam and the fact that they have the mini jets that kind of go into their chest. So I get a lot of shaking here. Let me try to fix that. It kind of reminds me of the jets that go into the Gundam's chest. It's kind of like that's sort of what this is, and they form the inside. It's a little different, but the colors and the scheme are very similar. And I almost feel like this was competing with Gundam at the time. So let's kind of move this guy out of the way. Saw him in robot mode. What we'll do is get both the V-Star and the Saber figure into vehicle mode, and we'll show them off individually, and then we'll combine them and kind of see where everything fits. So we'll be right back after transformation. So actually, before we move on to vehicle mode, I forgot to kind of show off his weapons here. So for Saber, he does pretty much hold every single weapon. The sword kind of just slides into his hand here, and it's a little tough to get it in, but you can kind of slide it in like that, and then close his hand, and there he has his sword. It's the perfect size for this figure. Perfect size, perfect weight, and there you go. And I think, they did a good job with that. He can also hold a shield, but it's just so heavy that he's going to fall over, so it's not much use, excuse me, in doing that. He can also hold the large, sword. Let's put this back together here. By the way, here's the kind of combination of the sword. You just sort of close this up, and there it is. He can hold this one too. I think that's actually what the little smaller hilt was for. It's so that Saber can hold this. But I mean, look how huge this is against him. It looks pretty silly. Also, it's too heavy and he falls down. So it's not really any purpose in putting this sword with Saber. You also got the little gun. Now you can kind of set it up to hold that too. Sort of squeeze that into his hand, and there you go, he holds his gun. And that looks pretty good. I mean, he doesn't have any issue with holding that thing. So really good job with making the weapons kind of interchangeable. Well, I guess he does have a little trouble standing here. Might be because of the way I have it balanced, but anyway, pretty impressive with the accessories. They're all interchangeable. Alright, now we will transform into vehicle mode and be right back to show that off. Okay guys, we're back from transforming. Every time I play with this figure, there's so many more features and little things I find. It's really difficult to cover everything in a review. I'll do my best to cover all the features, but this is one of those where they've packed in so much into this figure that you kind of have to just discover it as you go. Obviously not everything is in the instruction manual, so you really have to play with it and see it. But I'll do my best to try to cover everything. Now this is the Saber vehicle or jet. It really is, nicely detailed. It's got the opening cockpit here, and you can actually take let's get this adjusted here. You can take the Brain Master and just kind of bend his arms up. And now he's ready to go in to the cockpit. And he does fit in there really well. You gotta have his hands kind of straight up. But you can get him right in there. As I'm saying that, now he's not going in. Yeah, you have to make sure his feet and arms are 90 degrees. And he will go in there. There he goes. And the cockpit closes. He fits perfectly in there. It's a really well designed feature. I have a little trouble closing the cockpit. Oh, okay, it's just a very tight cockpit. But all in all, this alone is a great figure. Look, the boosters are. Trying to figure out if these are metal or die cast or not. Kind of feel like they are. Obviously, you got chrome here, gold chrome. You do have the landing gear, and that may be die cast. I don't know. Pieces of the landing gear do feel like metal. But there you go. You've got the 3 landing gear pieces, and it kind of sits down perfectly. I'm going to get this guy out of the way. And he just sit pretty nice. Oh, it actually rolls really well. Wow. I wasn't expecting it to be that smooth, but he does roll well. And it looks good. I like the look of this jet. Over time, I am worried that after transforming this a lot, some of these joints are kind of like, it doesn't seem like they're going to last for a very long time, or maybe they're going to start wearing out. So I probably don't want to transform this many times, but it is a well-built figure. I think the plastic is a little soft, and maybe that's what makes it feel like it's not going to last. I mean, I haven't had any issue yet with Saber. I actually did have an issue with the V-Star, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. And that's about it for the Saber vehicle. Then we have V-Star, and this thing is gigantic. I mean, it does have a huge, obviously a massive gap here. That's where the combination port is, but it really is, quite an impressive piece. I did have a little problem here. I'm not sure if that shows on camera. I did chip off here, so I had to kind of glue it back on. But this has a ton of die cast on it. This piece here is die cast. This kind of metal connecting piece is die cast. On the bottom are on the boosters. Here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces that are metal die cast. Inside the foot where we saw the Leo connecting port, there's more die cast right here. Inside the figure there might even be a little bit more die cast. I can't really tell because it's kind of hidden away, but really, really well built figure. It doesn't really look impressive on its own, but it does stand on its own. You can kind of fold out the landing gear here, and actually what's underneath the landing gear is pretty neat. Let's get this rotated up here. You've got a vent underneath, so when you're folding out the landing gear, and I think in robot mode, it'd be pretty neat to see that. So maybe that's why they put that there, so that if you were to open up this little landing gear piece, you would see the vents underneath. Now, this is pretty tight. Wow. Okay, I got it. Again, I believe these are, some of it is die cast. They're very tight, nicely fit pieces. You also got the landing gear in the back here. Let's see. You gotta figure out how to get it out. Well, alright, so you kind of fold it out here. And you've got the real wide wheels, which I like. And there you go. You start, and this rolls well too. So the whole thing, really nicely designed wheels. Now obviously we want to get to combine mode here, so kind of show how to do that. First you want to open up these two panels here. Set this aside for a second. And then you want to take Saber and fold the rear wings down like that, and fold the front wings up. Now it depends what style you like. If you like these to be all the way in, once you put them in like that, they're stuck like that once you combine them. So I like to have them like this, and then you can make an adjustment. So I'm gonna have it like that, and then you're pretty much ready to combine. So you take this and you kind of put it down at an angle, and you'll feel it click in. There you go. And he has clicked in there. And then you basically close these doors. And here you have the combined Saber jet. I think this looks amazing, really good. They did a great job with this. I've never even seen the original cartoon, but sorry, I'm having trouble fitting this on the screen here. So this is what I was talking about with these front. You can either have them up like this. If you had put them in, they would have kind of been stuck because these blue parts sort of block it, but I think it looks best like that. I don't know what the original cartoon looked like. I like the look of that. You can also have it straight up like that. Now for storage, this thing stores practically everything that comes with the figure. First you got the blade. You've got to take off the hilt, but you stick the blade in this little folding piece here, and it slides right in and it closes. It actually has a little feature where it kind of pulls it out for you. Then you take the other hilt off and stick that blade in. I believe you want to stick it in blade first. So there goes the two blades, and then you've obviously got his head. Now I probably should have been attaching this before. This is actually part of the transformation, and I didn't have it on. So it has this little clip here, and you're going to attach the back of the head to that clip, and then it kind of comes down and sits right there. I think it's supposed to be straight, but these antennae kind of want to go in because of the way they sit against the head. I assume they were supposed to be straight like guns, but to me it doesn't matter. I don't really mind. I think it looks fine like that. Alright, so also now we have the cannon. You got to fold it down and get the small handle there, and that fits in right there. And if we go around to the back, the small hilt for the sword, the smaller sword, does fit. There is a point to mount it, and it's right in here. There's a little hole that will attach to that little piece right there. So you kind of, it's not easy to get it in there, but you can get it in. It does store. Perhaps you're supposed to do this, maybe before you close it up, but there's the instructions don't talk about this. Oh, there you go. So it fits in perfectly right inside there. There's actually even a slot for the handle, and that stays there pretty nicely. So there's that. But the only thing left here, you got the shield. There's two parts here that don't go anywhere, and that's this, the long hilt. What I found, you can sort of stick it in here and just temporarily store it there. I mean, it doesn't go there. It's not supposed to be put there, but it does fit, and I thought, it doesn't look horrible there like that. Or if you want, you can put it on the other side. This piece kind of moves around, so you have some wiggle room to figure out where you want it. But you can find a place for this. But I personally am not going to use this hilt. I don't find any purpose for this, so I'm actually going to put this away back in the box. But you can find a spot to kind of stick it on the V-Star. The only other piece that doesn't really go anywhere is this piece, which is the part of the shield that slides out to let you put in the stand. But I'll show you where you might put it if it was on display. So let's first get this stand attached. Now this thing fits very securely on the bottom here, sort of attaches to his crotch. It's got a little tab on the back that kind of attaches. Once it's on there, it's pretty solid, doesn't go anywhere. And there you go. You've got Starsaber on his display stand. I think this is an incredible figure. The amount of detail, the number of features, just overall a really incredible figure. Now, I said that there is a spot to put this. It's not really a spot. I mean, you can, just for looks, you can put it right here. It doesn't fit in, or it doesn't attach to anything. But I found that kind of looks cool there. Oh, now that I'm putting it there, it doesn't really stay. Okay, so maybe you can't put it there. Let's see. Alright, well, perhaps you can't do that, but this is really the only piece that doesn't kind of go anywhere. I like the fact that it has an Autobot logo, so I was trying to find a spot to sort of stick it. But the official transformation doesn't have it. Oh, there you go. You can put it like that. Anyway, let's take this out of the way. So really, the only two pieces you have left are these two things. Everything else has been fitted back onto the combined Starsaber vehicle mode. I'm just going to close up the landing gear here. There really are a lot of features to this thing. It just has so much. The quality-wise, I did have a problem. Like I said, the tip of the wing broke off, and I had to kind of glue it back on. I considered sending it back to the place I bought it, but I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, I felt it wasn't a big deal, and it's fine now. But this thing in person, it really looks incredible. I think it reminds me of a Gundam ship. The way that it's designed and kind of the guns and stuff. It really does look like a Gundam, and I like that. I do like Gundam. I don't collect Gundam, but it's sort of for me, it's something really new with Transformers that I've never experienced before. Because I never watched Victory, I never had any of the toys, and this is really the first Victory toy I've had, and I'm truly impressed with this masterpiece figure. I think Takara, really wanted to set a new standard and knock this one out of the park, and try to convince maybe the executives and also maybe their investors that, hey, we can really sell this thing, and if you let us make more, we'll make even more money. I'm hoping that's what it is. I'm hoping they're going to make a lot more masterpiece figures like this level of quality, and the price point was $170. I thought that was perfect for this figure. Masterpiece Starscream was $200, and it's nowhere near as good in quality and features and in just in general compared to this figure. It's nowhere near as good as this figure. So they really nailed it with this, with even the price. By the way, these do adjust a little bit. You've got some kind of play here. So if you wanted to, oh wow, you can even do that. You can angle these boosters sort of wherever you want, which is just nice. They give you some options here. There you go. These do not move, and these don't move. Anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. Definitely, if you like this video, please hit the like or subscribe button, and leave me any comments if you have any questions on the review. The next review is going to be MX-1 Apollyon, the X-Transbots version of Megatron. I'm really excited for that figure. I was very disappointed with the Takara version of Masterpiece Megatron, so I'm glad that somebody else decided to take that on and really do it justice. But until we get that figure, this is it for now, and I'll see you guys next time on the review of Apollyon.